Hey fam, what is going on, and welcome back to another Ghost of Tsushima video. Today's video idea came from my good buddy Warhammer, who is also an incredible YouTube member and longtime supporter of not only me but this incredible channel that you guys have all grown so much. So big shout out to him and all the other YouTube members for supporting me monetarily when they know that they don't have to. Guys, this video is specifically for those of you guys who are newer to the game and kind of trying to understand the different percentages and the different perks and properties that maybe you should put on certain weapons for certain classes. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to go through the classes and I'm going to try to go through their most used items and show you guys kind of the meta builds that people have been using in the past, the OG builds if you will, and give you guys a good little idea for kind of like building blocks to get started. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If not, it's all good. We love y'all anyway. And if you are having trouble looking for people to play with, be sure to join the Discord. That's a link down below, and you can find some people that are in there in the Ghost of Tsushima section that are also looking for people to play with. Anyways, let's get to the video. All right, guys, what is going on? So let's just go ahead and hop right into this. So I'm going to just go over my classes and I'm going to go over the items that I use for them and kind of, you know, what some people like to use on each of these items. So first things first, guys, Summoner's Edge is a legendary weapon that allows you to have wind stance, and you can also put water stance on there. The main thing that I like to do with my samurai is melee damage, ultimate damage, water stance, and Way of the Flame. The reason I use ultimate damage is if you are using the technique that allows you to do 5 strikes. Basically, I want to have as much damage as possible. So not only having melee damage, but also having ultimate damage, they both stack on top of your ultimate because they're both considered melee damage. So it's kind of like extra damage on there. And now with Masama's Edge, since it is wind stance, which if you didn't get to play the main game, wind stance essentially is basically the stance that you take against spearmen. So I put water stance on there also because I really like to use water stance. And then for my second perk, and please be aware, a lot of these are actually 120 that, you know, if you haven't watched my gear mastery system video, I suggest checking it out so you can see what these are. But the 2 perks that I have on here are water stance and Way of the Flame. Now for my forbidden medicine, blast radius and status effect damage. Now the reason I use status effect damage is because if you think about the black powder bomb, which as you see at the bottom on my second perk, the initial explosion does a lot of damage. They also catch the enemies on fire, which starts ticking, and those ticks do provide more damage. So I do have that set as status effect damage. And also you need the samurai unlock. Like I said, if you haven't watched my gear mastery video, make sure you check that out, because if you want a 120 forbidden medicine on your samurai, be sure to have that. Other people do like to use bows on their samurai and stuff like that, which if you do, you know, if you do want to use a bow, you know, feel free. So with the samurai, guys, the beauty of it is there's a bunch of different charms that you can use for the samurai. For me, I like to use the defense charm. The reason being is because you do get injured resolve gain. So injured resolve gain is exactly what it sounds like. When you get hit, you gain resolve. And the samurai is a very tanky character depending on how you play it. So for the samurai, I have injured resolve gain, ultimate damage, which stacks on top of what I have for my katana. I have combat regen, just so I can have a little bit more heals while I'm playing the game. And basically the way combat regen works is, you know, when you get out of combat, as soon as you get out of combat, you start healing. You heal for a maximum of 50 health. Not 50%, 50 health. Typically it won't heal you to your full health, but you know, if you're running around and you're going from one point to another, ready for another fight, this helps a lot, and it does give you a lot of extra health and survivability. Next, I have Fire Master, because having these black powder bombs on top of having the technique Raging Flame, which does a lot of fire damage, having that Fire Master with extra 25% is actually amazing, and it's something that I would definitely recommend if it's something that you like. Now, another charm that you can use for your samurai that is also super popular is the samurai charm, of course. Now for the samurai charm, I have melee damage, ultimate damage, and blessed strikes are something that people love love to use so much. Dealing melee damage heals you when your class ability is active. So my class ability being my Raging Flame, when I have that active while I'm doing melee insane fire damage, it also heals me as well. Or if you like a more passive, you can use Spirit Pool, or some more damage, you can use Explosive Blade. Explosive Blade and Raging Flame kind of act as the same. They kind of act like Way of the Flame in the sense that the enemies cannot block the attack, and it's actually kind of amazing if you ask me. So I like using Raging Flame, but either way, if you want some extra heals, Spirit Pool is a very, very, very nice option. Now, I stated earlier, the reason I have ultimate damage is because I am using this technique that gives me 2 extra strikes for my Hachiman's Fury, which gives me 5 total. So I definitely want to use ultimate damage on that. Now, if I did not have this and I was using, let's say, legendary for another legendary, or Hachiman's Rage, which only does 2 strikes, I would likely use Oni damage on top of my weapon right here instead of using ultimate damage. So Oni damage is a very, very good property that you can use, and we'll go over it later on my other classes. Next, guys, Sticky Bomb. This is pretty much my base Sticky Bomb that I use pretty much on all my classes. Is cooldown reduction on kill, blast radius, increased radius, and fired up. Now, this increased radius, if you guys don't already know, it does stack with your bombs. So any bomb that you throw, if you already have increased radius on here, this does give you an extra 50% radius on whether you're using concussion bombs or black powder bombs. It's actually amazing. Don't sleep on it. Next, I have fired up on here, obviously, which lights enemies on fire, and it adds to that 25% that I have on my charm for Fire Master. Now, guys, you want to think of a very synergized build when you're making your builds. You want to make all your stats work with each other instead of conflicting. Another thing I forgot to mention, guys, if you're using this charm for the samurai, if you have Blessed Strikes, I would highly recommend that your second perk, you use Super Armor. So Super Armor is something that is very, very highly used by the samurai community, and basically none of your melee attacks will be interrupted. So having Super Armor along with Blessed Strikes, you're going to get healed no matter what, because you're going to be attacking. Even if an enemy hits you from behind, you won't falter. You're going to keep fighting, and it basically makes you an immovable object for these enemies, and it's actually kind of awesome to use. So I would definitely recommend that. So the samurai charm would be melee, ultimate, Blessed Strikes, and Super Armor. Now, for the healing gourd, I am using cooldown reduction on kill and then injured resolve gain as well. Now, understand, guys, this cooldown reduction on kill only applies to that specific ghost weapon, and it only applies to the cooldown on that weapon, not every single one. However, every kill that you get goes for both of these, right? So just be aware of that. Injured resolve gain, I am using Strong Brew to get that 50% extra, and I am using Lucky, which there is a chance when I use my healing gourd, I will get the healing gourd back instantly. The same thing with the Sticky Bomb, guys. You could, instead of fired up, you could essentially use Lucky, which also gives you another chance to give you a Sticky Bomb, which is actually kind of incredible. And I have used that, and I think I still use that on my Hunter, which is super amazing. And I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it already, because Lucky does perk a lot more than you might actually think. So now going over to my Hunter, guys, my katana for my Hunter, Perfect Parry Window is what I'm using, which if you don't want Perfect Parry Window, you know, you can do melee damage, you can do counter damage, doesn't really matter. I am mostly a ranged character when I am being a hunter, right? But sometimes you get into that fight, and if you're getting into that fight, then I mean, you can go ahead and use your Perfect Parry Window. Now for my second property on my katana, guys, I am using Oni damage. So the Oni damage right here is at 9.5%. Also, you guys want to make sure that you're getting the percentages as high as possible, and with this new update you can now do that. So let's say I have my Oni damage right here, and I go to it and I want to, I don't know, roll it. If I want to roll it right here, I can increase the property instead of, oh my God. So yeah, I can use increase existing property and kind of buff it up like that. That's actually fucking incredible. Yeah, I think I just use a purified for that. But anyways, guys, this is actually amazing. So just remember, you know, just remember that there's brand new opportunity with this new update. And if you haven't watched my update video, I definitely recommend checking it out. Another thing I'm using is Way of the Flame. I love using Way of the Flame because it does give you an unblockable attack that the enemies can't stop, and you're going to catch them on fire and you're going to hit them pretty hard. I love Way of the Flame. Highly recommend, especially if you're using, like I am on my charm, Fire Master. Next, I'm using Intimidating Counter to kind of synergize with my perfect parry window. So if I get a perfect parry and I hit him with the counter, there's a 50% chance that I'll deal damage to nearby foes. It does like a little AoE explosion, and it's actually kind of great. Now for the Skipping Stone Bow, guys. The Skipping Stone Bow, if you haven't already got it, is a very rare legendary item, but when you do get it, it will change your life for the hunter. I'm using range damage, reload speed, and the reason I'm using reload speed is because there's a tech that allows you to rapid fire your bow and basically shoot as fast as possible, and reload speed helps with that. So range damage goes towards my ultimate damage, so does Oni damage. So the thing about Oni damage, guys, is Oni damage will go towards any kind of damage that you do towards Onis, which are the big intimidating guys, because honestly those are the guys that you want to take down, and any other damage for the basic guys is going to kill them pretty easily anyways. So the main guys you want to focus on are the Oni. So having Oni damage is absolutely incredible. Now I have Headshot Refund, which I love using because obviously, you know, every time you get a headshot you will get refunded an arrow. Now be aware, the Skipping Stone Bow does allow your headshots to ricochet. If you get 2 headshots, you will not get 2 arrows back, you'll just get 1 back, but it's still amazing. Now helmet piercing ammo is another good thing to have, and also like you could change these out for a lot of different things, guys. This is just what I use. Headshot Refund is really good, but yeah, you instead of helmet piercing ammo you could use shield piercing ammo. Either way it's really good, but Headshot Refund, guys, I love it so much. I will never stop using Headshot Refund. For my hunter charm, guys, this can be a bunch of different ways. Okay, I'm using ultimate damage on my hunter charm along with hunter ability radius. Now the hunter ability radius is almost at 100%, which I could probably roll that right now and go to 100%, but if you go to the technique, guys, I am using explosive arrows. This is actually insane for the hunter. So what this does is when you shoot an enemy with your explosive arrow, it will increase the radius by 100%. However, if you have the Skipping Stone Bow and you shoot that explosive arrow in the head, it will ricochet and get another explosion. So basically you have a massive like double explosion on the enemies, which does insane damage. So having hunter ability radius is almost an absolute must, and if you don't want it, then I mean, it is what it is. This is just what I'm using. I'm using Fire Master obviously because explosive arrow does do fire damage. Foul arrows, which also apply weaken on the targets when you shoot the enemy in the head while using foul arrows. If you've never seen the little weaken effect, basically it allows the enemy to take so much more damage from not only you but your teammates as well. Another extremely viable thing to use on the charm, guys, is blessed arrows. Now blessed arrows is actually insane. So when you get a headshot, as soon as you get a headshot on the enemy where the enemy is standing, it will emit an AoE effect that heals allies or yourself around it. So it's a pretty big area of effect, and it is very helpful not only if you're trying to like solo stuff on your own, but if you just want to be a team helper, having blessed arrows is actually incredible. So you could change that out for foul arrows. You could also have combat regen, whatever you want to do. It's a very, very, very good option right there. So as you can see, for my sticky bomb, I am using the same situation, the same thing. Cooldown reduction on kill, status effect duration fired up to synergize with my Fire Master, and then using lucky. I have had this thing proc like 4 times in a row before, where I just threw a sticky bomb and the second it lands, I get lucky procced and it resets the cooldown, and I could throw another sticky bomb immediately. Don't sleep on lucky, guys. Now, guys, the biggest thing with a smoke bomb, guys, that is so absolutely imperative right here, you see I am using munitions, guys. I will always recommend having munitions on your smoke bomb. Not only does it help yourself, but it helps your teammates that are bomb users as well, because anytime they need ammo and you throw a smoke, whether you're trying to stop a wave from proceeding and you're just nuking them, wherever you throw a smoke, there will be ammo for them to pick it up. As you see, I have headshot refunds, so I'm getting my ammo back a lot. I almost don't even need it, but this is a huge help to your teammates, so you got to kind of think about that as well. Big meta right here. I would definitely suggest that. I'm using cooldown reduction and cooldown reduction on kill because I want my smoke bomb as much as possible, and I am using lucky, which is another amazing thing for the smoke bomb. Now guys, I will go over here to my Ronin, and we'll go over the Ronin's gear real quick. Nothing different really here. I'm using melee damage, Oni damage, which we already spoke about, Wave the Flame, and Burning Blade. So the reason I have Burning Blade, this is basically my fire setup right here. That all my builds are linked down below if you guys want like the actual in-depth videos. But melee damage, Oni damage, Wave the Flame, and Burning Blade. So Burning Blade does add a burning effect, along Wave the Flame does the same thing. Now the reason I'm using a water katana is because with my Heavenly Rebuke, incredible charm, first of all, it gives you a heavenly strike no matter what katana you're using, so you do not have to use the stone striker, which is the OG way of using heavenly strike, which also is another viable option for the fire Ronin. If you guys see right here, melee damage, Oni damage, Wave the Flame, and if I actually finish this right here then I will likely use Burning Blade with it as well, or Water Stance, which a lot of people like to use on it. Now, what I was saying about Heavenly Rebuke, guys, when you perform a heavenly strike, there's a 50% chance that your enemies will be struck with lightning, and it will do AoE damage on that one specifically. So for this, I have fire damage, Oni damage, Fire Master, and combat regen. And for my bomb pack, guys, blast radius, status effect damage, black powder bomb, and flash bomb. Flash bomb's absolutely incredible, and it essentially, when you get flashed by the enemies, that's exactly what you do to them when you use the flash bomb. Highly recommended as a Ronin to have that. Now guys, for my Spirit Kunai, which is probably my favorite weapon in the whole entire game, and it used to be even stronger, but every time you get a kill with it, no matter whether you hit 1 or 2 enemies, every single kill counts for a 10-second cooldown of all your cooldowns. Every cooldown that you have, whether it's your class ability, whether it's a smoke bomb or your kunai itself, every single cooldown gets reduced by 10 seconds. I'm using ghost weapon damage, cooldown reduction on kill, which are very, very meta. This right here is like the perfect Spirit Kunai you could ever have. Super massive, which deals extra damage and causes lighter enemies to kind of get thrown back. And hidden blades. It throws 5 kunai at once, guys. 5. And the reason I'm using hidden blades and not something else like lucky is because if you get kills, which is what you're trying to do with this, you want your enemies to be a little bit weaker. When you get kills, you get that 10 seconds, you want to shoot for maybe 1 or 2 kills, and if you get 1 or 2 kills, your Spirit Kunai is already almost back up again, considering it's on a 30-second cooldown. You can use Hidden Blade to throw 5 kunai at once, literally shotgunning the enemy at point blank range and doing insane massive damage. And super massive deals extra damage. And as you guys can see right here, ghost weapon damage is something that applies only to ghost weapons, and it is very, very, very important to note that your black powder bombs are considered ghost weapons. So the black powder bombs that you have on your bomb pack, they will stack with this ghost weapon damage, so do not forget about that. And cooldown reduction on kill, which every kill you get also cool down your Spirit Kunai. So you get 2 kills, then you have an extra 8 seconds on top of the 20 seconds that you got because of the Spirit Kunai's effect, and your kunai is already up again. So it's actually insane. The Spirit Kunai is so fucking incredible, especially for the Ronin, because the Ronin specifically has a technique that increases ghost weapon damage by 50%. So not only does ghost weapon damage stack on black powder bombs, but you're also getting the effect from Oni damage, fire damage, blast radius, like literally everything stacks. It's absolutely insane. The Ronin is so strong, guys. If you haven't played the Ronin yet, I definitely suggest it. Now we're going down to my smoke bomb. It is the same, guys, as my hunter. Cooldown reduction on kill, and lucky ammunition. Lastly, guys, I will show you guys my incredible assassin. Melee damage, ability cooldown reduction. Now the reason I have ability cooldown reduction is because here on your techniques you will see I am using a toxic build. Your toxic vanish is on a 62-second cooldown, as opposed to your base cooldowns for group vanish and refreshing vanish are both at 50. So I am basically stacking as much as I can on cooldown reduction. So ability cooldown reduction, melee damage, which goes towards your ultimate as well. Poison blade, because it is a poison build, and now your poison does, if you guys see your technique right here, poison also reduces the health of the enemy, not only just the stagger meter. So it's actually super strong. And Way of the Flame, that I always proc right before I use my ultimate, just to add extra damage. On my forbidden medicine, I'm using blast radius, status effect damage, assassin unlock, and black powder bomb. So, you know, status effect damage, just so you guys know, also stacks towards your poison damage. So if you're using a poison build like I am, and if you have, like, you know, poison blade and stuff like that, status effect damage does stack towards that. So this is all synergizing together and making a super strong build. As for my assassin charm that I love to use, I have stealth attack damage, because you need that stealth attack damage if you are going to be doing assassinations. Now, with the update that happened recently with the assassin, stealth attack damage does now stack towards your ultimate, which is so crazy. So stealth attack damage, toxic vanish radius, because on my technique, if you see right here, when I hit my toxic vanish, I do emit a cloud of toxins that catch the enemy and basically start eating away at their health and their stagger meter, just like the deadly nightshade says. So having that is super imperative, just like on your hunter having ability radius. Your toxic vanish radius is so important for this toxic build that I use, which is all going to be linked down below. Chain vanish, which allows you to vanish after getting an assassination. So when I use my toxic vanish, I go invisible and I get an assassination, and because of this chain vanish on my charm, I go back invisible again. Now, when I go back invisible, that toxic cloud, yeah, it comes out again. It's actually insane. And you can even stack it a third time if you want to use this perk right here that allows you to change vanish again. So it's super crazy build, and we can go in depth on this later on if you guys like. I'm using legendary right here because I am using 2 legendary things. I am using a magma bomb, which you could use a regular bomb if you want, because the magma bomb used to be actually crazy. However, the magma bomb does emit a smoke cloud after it explodes, which you can get assassinations from as well. So cooldown reduction on kill, status effect duration, okay, because they're going to be poisoned and I want the duration to last a little bit longer because I already have status effect damage up here. So not only is this increasing the damage on the status, which is the poison that you see along with black powder bomb, because they're going to be on fire, but it also increases the duration of those ticks that they're going to be getting in order to take that damage. I'm using fired up and I'm using lucky. Also, guys, on the smoke bomb is the same thing. Stealth attack damage, cooldown reduction on kill. The stealth attack damage, you know, you want that as an assassin because it stacks with your ultimate, and you get assassinations, which is super important. It is your job. You're an assassin. Cooldown reduction on kill, munitions, because I am using a bomb pack, and honestly, munitions is just incredible, and lucky. Another super viable weapon for the assassin, guys, and it's actually slept on a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I even sleep on it, is Heaven's Sting. Heaven's Sting is such a great weapon, guys. So basically the darts have if you read it, the darts have a 20% chance to kill non-Oni targets. So if it's not Oni, like the guys with the shield running around, or just like a regular spearman or swordman, it has a 20% chance to immediately just kill them. It procs so often, it's actually insane. Now, stealth attack damage on here as well, which is another way to stack stealth attack damage because you have it on your charm and your smoke bomb, which is incredible. Status effect damage, because this thing does have poison darts that you can use, and every poison dart that you have stacks that deadly nightshade effect, which takes away their stagger meter and their health. So you can stack as many poison darts as you have on one big target and you will just completely melt this guy away, which it's so insane, very viable. Now, hallucination darts are something that you can throw on there, which is super good too, because it catches the enemy in this like state that makes them start attacking their own freaking people. You could also use helmet piercing or shield piercing ammo, which is really good, because shield piercing, you just have to aim at center mass and it just hits them. You know what I mean? Shield piercing, I would always choose over helmet piercing with the blow dart, because you don't really have to aim too crazy. You just shoot them center mass and you're gonna get that poison effect on them. So for these two options, I would say hallucination dart and shield piercing ammo are the great way to go with that specific thing. All right, guys, another super important charm that I wanna bring light light to is the stealth charm. So the stealth charm is another charm that you can use on your Ronin, which is amazing, that I use on my hybrid Ronin build that is also linked down below for healing and stuff like that. So this does ghost weapon damage, which, you know, ghost weapon damage stacks like what we spoke about with black powder bombs, and fire damage as well, along with fire master and resolve increase. Now the reason I have resolve increase is because when I go and I do my healing build, I want as much resolve as possible. So essentially when I do my healing build, I have 5 resolve slots that fill up, and I can just do as many ultimates as I want. Obviously, if you have this technique down here, the soothing breath, it heals your teammates for 8 seconds when you revive them. Okay, this is super important. But right now I'm using legendary, and you know, this is just the build that you guys can see more in depth in the video that I have linked below. All right guys, another super viable thing is called Caltrops. So this is the legendary version of the Caltrops called Demon Seeds that a lot of people do use in order to add extra fire damage on enemies. So Caltrops right here, you could even see right here, ghost weapon damage, status effect duration, fired up, and you can use deep bags. So essentially what deep bags does, it increases the radius and the amount of Caltrops that you throw down on the field and catch those enemies on fire. So as a Ronin, you will get increased ghost weapon damage. So you will do insane fire damage if you have fired up on there to the enemies that walk over your Caltrops, and it's something that a lot of people use that is actually super strong. All right guys, that's gonna be it for me, man. I went over as much things as possible right there, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video helps somebody, because there's a lot of different gear that can just be very confusing if you don't know, don't know exactly what to look for at the beginning. So like I said, I hope this video helps, and if it does, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If not, it's all good. We love y'all anyway. If you have any questions, guys, throw them down below and I will be happy to answer. Catch you guys on the next one. Much love. Peace.